Come and knock on our door.
The big question you have to ask yourself, not, hey, is the Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson coming on or not? Because it's not. Three's Company's coming up next, reruns. But is it going to be Jack Ritter with the two hotties or Don Knotts? I shouldn't say Jack Ritter or Don Knotts. Wrong characters. Will the landlord be Don Knotts? That's the big question. Oh, wait. Drew Brees says this is New Orleans, not Malibu. That means it is the Neutral Ground with yours truly, Corey Johnson, coming your way. No Three's Company. Sorry, Suzanne Summers fans. And that 10% of you that love Joyce DeWitt. You're the Kate Jackson fans for Charlie's Angels. You like Bailey on WKRP in Cincinnati. Marianne on Gilligan's Island. You like the B-Girl. The B-Girl's sometimes better looking than the A-Girl in a lot of those programs, by the way. Corey Johnson back at you on a hot Tuesday afternoon. Was that rain? Was that some scattered thunder showers? Maybe a tenth, something like that, a quarter of an inch at best. I don't even think we hit a quarter of an inch. I think it's going to be like, 0.2 of an inch of rain, something like that. I got about 15 minutes of rain. I had to run outside and roll up the cracked windows on my car. You can always leave the windows cracked knowing that it's not going to rain lately, huh? Wow. Our normal summer day today, except for the temperatures getting up into the high 90s. We got pretty hot, and then we had an afternoon thunder shower. The normal summer deal. Hadn't been that way the last few weeks, and it looks like it's continuing. It looks like we're about midway, maybe. Maybe. We don't know where the back end is, but we're about a week and a half in to this high 90s, 97, 98, 99 degree, even 100-degree temperatures, about a week and a half in. It was supposed to last a week. It was supposed to end last week or at the beginning of this week. Now it's rolling deep into next week, like not Monday or Tuesday, but deep into like Thursday. So at best, we're like halfway through this misery. It's crazy. We've had more days in the high 90s, just in my opinion. I haven't verified it. I'm not a meteorologist, and I'm not about to go look up the records, but I'm confident saying it. More days in the high 90s, 96, 97, 98, 99 this summer than the last decade of summers combined. The last decade of summers combined. I've never seen anything like it. I've never experienced anything like this in New Orleans. It's definitely dry. An incredible lack of rain the next week and a half. It's a lot of just sunny days with no rain in sight. This thunder shower we got this afternoon, which is normal, which is the usual norm, is not happening. Don't expect a lot of that every afternoon. Boy, when you're welcoming rain, when you want to do a rain dance, when you're excited to see rain, we have a drought going on. No burn warning in Louisiana where it is legal to burn. Today we got a little dust off, like the dust, the light dust, dirt, pollen, that got all washed down the drain. That was about it. I honestly don't think it was enough to like really water your lawn or water the plants. I actually ran the sprinkler yesterday in a couple of areas. I've got some new azalea bushes, some landscaping done. No water. I ran the sprinkler for like 45 minutes in each area yesterday. Today, I was like, cool, that sort of invigorates, sort of resaturates those areas because I saturated them yesterday. But the areas I didn't, they just got wet. I think they got a quick little taste of the water and then it's gone and it's not enough. No, it's so dry out there. But yeah, that was rain. Almost forgot what that stuff looked like. So we've had some sunny weather like almost desert-like conditions as far as sun and no rain, but yeah, ridiculous humidity still, 40, 50% humidity. Anyway, temperatures today, right now, with the cloud cover, with the rain, I had it at about 95 earlier today. Yeah, that's what I got right now, 95, which would be kind of a normal super high in the summer. Peaking out for a couple hours, 95, and then right back down to 94, 93, 92 for most of the day. Instead, it's super high 90s. Yeah, still feels like 104. And yeah, like I said, I mean, tomorrow, the high 96, Thursday 98, Friday 99, Saturday 99, Sunday 98, next Monday 97, next Tuesday 98, next Wednesday 98, next Thursday 98. Lots of water. Stay hydrated. Corey Johnson with you. Got a great guest coming in studio in about 10 minutes. Sean Meenan, Habana Outpost, New Orleans owner, operator. It's more than, hey, we've got on a guy who owns a restaurant in New Orleans. It's more than, hey, we got a guy coming on who took a blighted corner for decades in New Orleans and brought it back to life. We have more than a guy coming on that took a blighted corner and brought it back to life after decades. And that corner happens to be at the gateway, one of the, 2 or 3 gateways to the French Quarter, one of the main corners, Esplanade at Rampart. No, it's more than that, because you had New Orleanians that claim to be righteous New Orleanians, that claim to be good people, that are out for the city. They know what's best, on and on and on. And they were stifling Sean Meenan and his Habana Outpost project for over a decade. Over a decade. Over a decade. Just mind-blowing. About 11, 12 years, some neighbors behind the Habana Outpost on Esplanade, getting together with other like-minded neighbors. I don't know. I think a lot of these people, at least the main movers, family money, don't have to work, might even have a law degree scattered somewhere in the group, and probably ran off lots of folks over 40 years that we don't even know about, never heard about, trying to get a business up and running. And these folks found out about it and put up the blockades, called in their favors, filed lawsuits. And after so many months, so many years of, my God, I'm trying to create a business for New Orleans, I'm getting no help. The opposite. I'm done. I throw in the towel. You guys win. Now, these people are dangerous. They act like they're great New Orleanians. They're selfish New Orleanians. They liked the blight. They didn't want a business there. They didn't want cars parking and people walking around and a lively environment. They liked that dark part of Esplanade right off Rampart. Their houses have got alarms and are lit up and have gates that are locked. They're all thinking the same way. They're looking out for each other. It's our little neighborhood. We like our blight on the corner. Problem is, it isn't their call. They live in the French Quarter, kind of like living by the airport. And you're going to complain that they're adding flights and your house is by the runway. Maybe you shouldn't live by the airport and the runway. Maybe you shouldn't live on Esplanade at Rampart, essentially, in the French Quarter. So finally, Sean Meenan, a Golden Gloves champ, and one of the original investors in Etsy, who has some money, some wherewithal, and fell in love with New Orleans, bought a house down the street, kids in school here. I don't think he was mean, vindictive, or I'll get you, and had their attitude. We'll see who wins this fight. Just love New Orleans, has his Habana Outpost, similar venues around the country, around the world, knew it would work. kept grinding, got it done. Now go drive by that once blighted corner for 40 plus years. Beautiful, lots of green trees and plants and shrubs and bushes surrounding it. What a blessing. What a great addition to the French Quarter to New Orleans, removing blight, bringing in a great business. Sean Meenan's going to join us in a few minutes on the program. Ron DeSantis firing his campaign manager, a 78-year-old driving into a drive-through strip mall in Kenner, but it wasn't a drive-through. Maybe he needed free pickup and delivery from Young's. YoungsDryCleaning.com, a New Orleans institution since 1940. Want to experience the best dry cleaner? YoungsDryCleaning.com. YoungsDryCleaning.com. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations, New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
River Cities Total Maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer. That's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
The French bread of the city of New Orleans. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" He said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
They open their doors in about 40 minutes. Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets. I was there yesterday for lunch. Creature of habit. Called a restaurant last night, a little to-go order, coat suit in Uptown. They delivered to my house right there on Maple Street, down the block from Friend and Company Fine Jewelers. And the girl on the phone's like, hey, Corey, same thing? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, yeah, I do the same thing too. I'm like, I get 2 or 3 things kind of at every restaurant I go to and kind of stick with those. And the people at the restaurant are like, boy, why don't you order something else? It's like, I know what you're saying because you're inside the box at your restaurant. I go to a bunch of different restaurants, get a bunch of different things. But yeah, I'm not an all over the menu or, hey, surprise me type person. So yeah, a little bit of a creature of habit. Monday, lunch at Fausto's. Fausto's has lunch Monday through Friday, dinner Monday through Saturday. They have lunch and dinner specials every day. It's Sicilian and Italian at its best. There's one thing on the menu that's not Sicilian and Italian in the least bit. It's the red beans and rice, but they'll even make them that way. Little pane chicken breast with the Italian seasoning and breadcrumbs, pounded thin and crispy, or maybe get the Italian sausage instead of the hot sausage. But Fausto, growing up in the Italian part of the French Quarter, 70 years ago almost, had an age-old red beans and rice recipe that was fantastic then. It's fantastic today. Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets. Check them out tonight. They open at 5 o'clock. Check out a little Major League Baseball or whatever you want at the bar on the TV. Dine inside. Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets. Coming up in about 10 minutes, Sean Meenan, Habana Outpost owner, operator, is going to join us on the program. What a fantastic story that really isn't told enough. And it's even bigger than Sean Meenan and the Habana Outpost in the sense that this is a New Orleans problem. These people that stifle progress in New Orleans, hiding behind like, I'm a native New Orleanian, I know the city, I care. I've seen it so many times. And if they've been successful a lot and they've failed, and it's hard to show an example of where they failed. And boy, we should have followed what they were doing. We should have followed what they were doing. I mean, there's the Walmart at the River Bend. Folks were against that. There was the Whole Foods on Magazine. Folks were against that. We can go on and on and on. It's obnoxious. These New Orleanians that claim they're natives and for the city and all this, but the problem is it's the opposite. They're for themselves, self-preservation. And this Habana Outpost is one of the most egregious examples of these New Orleanians thinking they're trying to act like they're helping the city, and they're doing the exact opposite. My entire life since I was a child, since like the Jimmy Carter presidential administration in the 70s, I remember this was an Esso gas station when I was a tot. And I think around 73, 74, Esso went to Exxon. And I remember them changing the signage. And then like 2 years later, that gas station went out of business. So I'm guessing like 77, 78, something like that. And it's been blighted since then, like almost 50 years, 40-something years. I'm wondering how many people tried to open a business there over the years, over the decades. And these joker New Orleanians behind them acting like they're the righteous people, the natives that care the most, they're the best people, that blocked or stifled that endeavor. They messed with the wrong cat when they messed with Sean Meenan. And he's not mean and he's not vindictive, it doesn't seem. He's not like some angry guy that's out to get you. The opposite. He's a winner. And I think he just fell in love with our city, thank God. Had other Habana Outposts, similar type restaurants in other locations, had a lot of success with that. Love this location in New Orleans, bought a house down the street, kid goes to school in New Orleans, fell in love with our city. I'm going to get this done. And then started running into roadblocks and hurdles and probably was thinking, boy, you know, that's the New Orleans I heard about that some folks told me to worry about. And then the roadblocks and hurdles just got insurmountable, just obnoxious. Lawsuits and getting the council involved and Kaare Commission and Historic District, all this. And then these folks with probably too much family money, too much time. Like I said earlier, maybe a lawsuit in the group, a law degree in the group or two. No, their goal was to keep blight on Rampart and Esplanade so they could keep what their lifestyle was, how they were living at that time. Like, we like the blight. We don't want some lit up business there, cars parking, people walking around, tax dollars created, something that's great for the many. The needs of the few outweigh the needs of the many. So these folks busted their tail for over a decade, calling everyone they knew, pulling every string they knew with every politician they paid off, trying to stifle this legitimate business in this blighted property. But Sean Meenan had a few things going for him besides his love for the city, dedicated, going to get it done. Happened to be one of the original investors in Etsy, so has a little wherewithal, could hang with these New Orleanians that are a problem. And then second, he's a Golden Gloves champ. So just by nature, he's a winner, a fighter, literally. So he's going to, hang in there. And about a decade, 11 plus years later, he finally wins the battle. And these native New Orleanians that claim to know what's best for the city, that liked their blight, they lost big time. No, I love it. I love that when you go to Habana Outpost, in the window, there's one of those signs, no Habana Outpost, the red circle with the line through it. He's just got to say, like, no, yes, Habana Outpost. Here it is. Come on in and enjoy. No, one blighted corner down, one to go. I mean, this is the entrance way to the French Quarter, such an important corner, New Orleans. Esplanade at Rampart. You can put a check mark by that. Mission accomplished. Go look at it. Green, vibrant, plants everywhere. People, it's fantastic. Fits right in. Perfect addition of the quarter. The other corner, right down the street, Rampart at Canal Street. The collapse of the Hard Rock Hotel. That's the old Woolworths. Civil rights counter. That's the next project that needs to get done. No, and there were folks complaining about that. Don't build there. Don't build a building that matches all the buildings down the block right there on Canal Street. No, that's New Orleans at its worst. These folks that the needs of the few outweigh the needs of the many. We see it with politicians. We see it with insiders. Folks that are they're selfish. They're concerned about themselves, not us. This is a great win for New Orleans. We need more of that. And this story really is sort of, it's known, but it needs to be told. It's sort of untold, not known well enough. And it's part of the problem in New Orleans, where we drive people away that don't have the wherewithal, the fight, the strength, the patience to, hey, New Orleans is different, kind of second world. You got to go through some minefields, jump over some hurdles, dodge some, obstacles. And then you can get what you want, where you go to other cities and they're bending over backwards to get you going. Anyway, Sean Meenan's going to join us in about 5 minutes live in studio to talk about that and a whole lot more. That was rain earlier today. Holy smokes. That's the norm in the summer, right? Afternoon thunder showers. Hadn't been that way for the last few weeks. A very dry summer. Insane heat that I've never seen as a native. Not this long. Not, these high 90s, 97, 98, 99 the last 10 days. That's more. And then we had it for 4 or 5 days about 2 or 3 weeks ago, if you remember. That's more days in the high 90s than I've seen summertime in New Orleans the last decade plus. I mean, I rarely recall summertime temperatures in New Orleans getting above 95, 96. I mean, 97 was like, dude, it's a boiler out there. But the normal high day in, day out, 97, 98, 99, even 100. And then it's going to go on for another week and a half still? No, the real killer besides the thermometer, the feels like temperature. Our normal highs of low 90s, we might have a feels like in the high 90s. Our feels like is 109, 112, 115, like 8, 10, 12, 15 degrees feels like temperature, hotter than normal. I think we've had 4 heat-related deaths in New Orleans. Reportedly 4 heat-related deaths in New Orleans. I said this, when this started. Folks, that are vulnerable, health conditions, elderly, and live where there's no air conditioning. They don't have air conditioning. Go pick them up. Go to the grocery store. Go to the shopping mall. Go to the public library, the community center in the neighborhood. Go anywhere where there's air conditioning, fast food restaurant, wherever there's AC, at least in those middle parts of the day. Jeff Duncan reporting the Saints might move training camp starting next year because of this heat. Corey Johnson with you on a Tuesday. Helm Paint and Decorating's been with you for over 50 years. When you got to paint in Metro New Orleans, do it once, do it right. 7 locations. They'll steer you in the right direction. Helm Paint and Decorating.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
The Woodhouse Day Spa with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. Station is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disk, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
For over 20 years, serving healthy, fresh, authentic Middle Eastern cuisine, Lebanon's Cafe. In the Carrollton section of Uptown on the streetcar line, Wednesday through Monday, 11 a.m. to 9:30. Lebanon's Cafe.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Yeah, that's my motto. Yeah, you right. Not this guy's. Sean Meenan, how you doing, man?
I'm great, Corey. Good to be here with you, man.
A pleasure, man.
Yeah, for real, for real.
Been waiting to do this for a long time.
It's been, yes, it has. It's been a long time.
You've come on the phone, on the show a bunch over the phone through the years, and then sometimes like, dude, don't want to come on right now. I don't want to rock the card. I'm trying to get this done.
Yeah.
We're talking about Habana Outpost. That's your baby. That's your restaurant on Esplanade and Rampart, right?
Yep. Esplanade and Rampart, Habana Outpost. Yep. We have the sign. If you call them and you looked at the sign, it says been trying to open since
2012.
Since 2012, and it was even before that we started it all, but we finally got open, and real happy to be there.
I wanted to ask you, like, what you got? One in like Malibu, right?
Yep.
Brooklyn. There's like 9 of them now.
I'm not counting, but
okay.
yeah. Okay.
So,
but, yeah.
I mean, I just saw the website, so like, I am counting.
Okay.
That's what I do.
All right.
So when you went to Malibu and you found a property and you bought it or leased it, you went through the zoning or the permitting and whatever process. Tokyo, Dubai, was it just similar process? And if so, how was New Orleans different from all those places?
Well, there's a couple of things that made it different in New Orleans slightly than the other places. I have to say that certain things were a little bit more seamless in the other places than they were here in New Orleans. But there's no place like the people in New Orleans. There's no place anywhere in the world, I don't think, that the people that live there are as enthusiastic and passionate about their community as the people in New Orleans. And while this kind of went sideways for a little while and there were some ups and downs, there was a small, vociferous, I would say, group of people that were making a lot of noise to try to make sure the project didn't happen, and a lot of time in court and going back and forth. But the overwhelming response of the people in New Orleans and the love that they showed me and my family and all of us that were part of Habana, I can't even begin to describe it, because there were times where it was like, oh, this has been going on for over a decade and it just seems like it's a long time. But at some point, all the love and support that was there from the people in New Orleans really it was inspiring and made you kept going on.
You have to wonder why the fight against you. And it was just essentially a group of neighbors behind you. They got a little momentum with some other folks in the quarter. No Habana Outpost. I mean, I think selfish New Orleanians that liked their lifestyle the way it was. They liked the blight on the corner. They were used to the blight for 30, 40 years. They didn't want a business there, people, parking, cars, whatever. Thought of all the negatives, nothing about the, hey, a business in the blighted corner. It's on the Rampart Esplanade corner. It should be a business. It used to be a business. What's best for the city? I think they just had a terrible attitude and were kind of caustic and going against you. What were you like? What did I do wrong? What I know in the beginning you even tried to work with these folks and explain what you were doing and what do you people want? What can I do to accommodate you? What were you thinking when this just belligerent no attitude towards you?
I mean, there's always two sides to every story, and what it was that they were so upset about, I sometimes felt that it was the idea of what they thought the restaurant was going to be, not actually what the restaurant was going to be in a time.
Movie night, all this stuff. Cinco de Mayo, I remember showing just the worst scenarios possible.
There were people, they had, people that were going to be lined up eating dinner in the bus stop and some other things that, like, I just was like, there's no plans for people eating in a bus stop. I don't think people are allowed to eat in a bus stop, but I think some people, it just had their mindset that it was something was going to happen. But I really didn't spend too much time thinking about what they were thinking about. I really, like you said, we tried to work together. It didn't really work out in the beginning well. But the sad part about all of that is that we really do try to have a restaurant where everybody feels comfortable when they come in there. It really is. We have kind of a price point where it's aspirational for certain people. It's kind of slumming it, eating ethnic food for other people.
Yep.
But we really hope that everybody who comes in feels, oh, I got good value for my money. I got treated well. I had a nice time from whichever angle they're coming at it. And really, we have communal seating. I think one of the beautiful things about the restaurant is it's a little bit out of the way food for a lot of for certain people.
Yep.
So a lot of people are eating food that they don't normally eat together with other people, that some people they might not even choose to sit next to on a normal, or wouldn't happen in their daily lives, just regular lives. But when they come there, they're kind of all breaking bread together on the same table. And the sad part about when things kind of went awry was that we really are trying to have a restaurant where everybody feels uncomfortable. Everybody feels comfortable.
Yep.
And then the people who feel decidedly uncomfortable about the restaurant are the immediate neighbors, or some of the immediate, not all, but a few. And that was kind of like, it was hard to reconcile for all of us in there. Cause it's like, no, we really, we want to get along. We want to bring people together, not divide people. And so it was a different position than it used to being in, you know?
Yeah, well, you're not dealing with reasonable, rational people. You're dealing with folks that have self-interest and selfish, in my opinion. I just thought it was a nightmare type situation. Over a decade, you were one of the original investors in Etsy, right?
Yeah, Etsy actually started in the courtyard at the spot up in Brooklyn in many ways. Yeah,
Wow.
It was humble beginnings. And
Wow.
yeah, there you go. Sure.
And you're a Golden Gloves boxing champion, right?
I was the light heavyweight Metro champ. Yeah.
Coupled with the fact, unlike me, and I think folks just watching the segment, you're humble. You're not kind of, I'm a little arrogant and loud and obnoxious like a lot of Yaddy New Orleans. I mean, you're successful as hell, a big winner, and you're humble as can be. I mean, I think that obviously had to contribute to where you are today.
Maybe so. I've had a charmed life. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And really thankful for how things have worked out. And one of the great things in my life too is really coming to New Orleans, man. I can't say, it's just one of those, it's almost been like a relationship I'd have, like, oh, you see that, well, for me, I'd see that girl and there's something about her that just is intriguing. Then you meet her and she has a great personality. Then she invites you over and wow, she can cook. And then she's got like such an interesting history about her. And then she's so beautiful. And so you're like, oh, I like her, I love her. And then all of a sudden, boom, you're in love. And that's kind of how I'm in love with New Orleans. I really couldn't be in a better place in my mind, raising a son here, and really couldn't think of a better place to be doing it.
You seem to fit in really well. Like you're kind of a New Orleans character, like in a way. You kind of fit. It seems like it's a good fit.
That's a great compliment. I'll take that.
Seriously.
I hope so. Yeah. And I really feel like, I mean, and like I said, I've really never seen the kind of love and support for, I mean, I came down here, I really didn't know anybody, got myself on the wrong end of something.
Yep.
And so many people came out just to be kind, and they had nothing to gain. Cause what was that? I'm like, you know, who am I? I'm nothing to do. And it was a new position for me to be in. And I really, again, I don't want to oversay it, but it's really how I feel. I couldn't be any more pleased to be in New Orleans, and I couldn't be any more thankful to New Orleans and the people in New Orleans.
Yeah, no, man, you're an official New Orleanian. I mean, I guess you can't be a native because you weren't born or raised here, but official's the next best thing. And everybody's embraced you. Hell yeah, take that. Sean Meenan's with us, Habana Outpost founder, owner, operator. Hey, Sean, you said you lived a charmed life.
No doubt.
You're a boxer. Are you from New York?
Yeah. Yeah, born in Manhattan.
I mean, you're Golden Gloves champ. Maybe I'm wrong, and you went to some prep school and came from, a rich family. You seem like kind of a blue collar kid.
I kind of had it both ways. Do you know what I mean? I started one way, kind of ended up another way, and everything. And had some people take me in, and really, I've had some angels in my life. I really have, and things are going well. And you never know how things are going to turn out.
What was the first big accomplishment? The Golden Gloves Championship? How old were you?
I was an old man when that happened.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You already had the restaurants open?
I had, the restaurants were happening, and I was. Well, for that game, I was like an old man.
All right, well, let's go back in time then. What was the first win? What was the first thing you got going where you had some momentum, a nice victory?
Probably when I opened the first restaurant. I mean, if it was a horse race, really quick, I don't think anybody. I don't think I could guarantee nobody was betting on me to win that race. No, not at all. And so I worked in a restaurant, and my person who had been my boss, the only job I ever had for more than a year was working with him. And really, he should have fired me a couple of times and just had my back and didn't. And I don't know, that was my boy. And he always talked about opening a restaurant. And I said, yo, Sammy, if you don't start thinking about opening up a restaurant, you're gonna be riding the bus half price before this happens. Let's go do this. And I had been producing music. Maybe that was my first one. I was producing music videos and commercials, and really had it going on, and felt
making
good
a little money. You were doing okay.
What? Yes. And again, I was just a bartender with an attitude, and all of a sudden I was producing music videos and commercials, and
nice.
It was real nice. And for a while I got in kind of with the English and the Japanese, so they'd come over, and lots of times they want locations that scream New York, so it was kind of easy. But I was really paid to ride around New York on my motorcycle, take pictures, and then they would always ask me to do the real life casting. So I would get all the guys. At that point, not everybody had tattoos and piercings and all this. I go, those are all my people. I'd be in the East Village. Do you want to do this? All the pretty. We needed a couple pretty young ladies to be in. Okay, so it was a pretty good job that I had, and so I was doing that. But then I was like, what else am I going to do with myself? And I thought that I kind of success begets success. And what did I know how to do? And I knew a little bit about the restaurant business. My old boss was saying he wanted to open a restaurant. And so I was like, let's try to make this happen. And we did. So I'd say that was probably the big first on those kinds of things, the big first win. I had a lot of better things, like people come into my life and some other blessings. But like that, as far as people looking in from the outside, they'd probably be like, oh, yeah, you did good for yourself with that one.
Sean Meenan's with us. We're going to knock out a quick break and come right back. More with Sean. Hey, what are the hours of the restaurant? Is it still the Thursday through Sunday?
Thursday through Monday. We're going to get Tuesday going and do Taco Tuesdays pretty soon, but we're open from 11 to 11, Thursday through Monday.
Nice. Esplanade and Rampart, Habana Outpost. Corey Johnson with you. More with Sean Meenan next. Stick around. 5 o'clock powwow will coming your way in just a few minutes. We'll talk about Ron DeSantis, this 78-year-old driving in the strip mall in Kenner, and Jeff Duncan's thoughts about the Saints moving training camp. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
What actually lasts a lifetime? Not much, but at Helm Paint, we have something guaranteed to last a lifetime. Benjamin Moore's Regal Select. This paint and primer in one offers cutting-edge waterborne technology, smooth application, and long durability. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, your New Orleans paint store.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, fuller part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models, and it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets has daily lunch specials Monday through Friday, and their entire lunch menu is available too. Open 11 a.m. through 2:30 p.m. For the finest in Sicilian and Italian cuisine, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
That's what I said. Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson with you. Yeah, you right's the motto over at Habana Outpost.
No doubt. Yeah. We really are trying to honor this town in the best way that we know how. And so some of it's through colloquial expressions.
How'd you figure that one out? What, that you heard it all the time?
What? Come on, man.
And you're just like, what does that mean? Were you like, what does it mean? Or you caught on right
you
away?
can't. I mean, like, you hear it enough, you catch on, or you're a dumbbell. So I know I caught on to what it was. And then even like where we're located right now, there's 4 hugely important neighborhoods that are not just historic neighborhoods that are important to the city, but they're important to the world. You know, we're in the French Quarter, across the street, the Treme, 7th Ward, and the Marigny, and we're right there, and you can see those 4 neighborhoods from one place. And we really try our best to make sure, in how we as we can, to make sure that want to make the people in New Orleans feel that we are honoring their city. It's important to us. Everybody works there. Sure.
Hey, Sean, what was the big jump for you financially? This investing in Etsy?
I mean, knock wood for me. Like, things were going, like, the restaurant thing started to happen. And then I had a couple other things going for myself that actually did pretty well. And the Etsy thing was really the man who started Etsy, the young man who started Etsy. He kind of had 2 advisors. I was one of them. And I was a little bit more of the guy, like, go for it. Right. And we used to call it outpost style. Outpost style was like, don't worry about all the problems, just worry about what you can do and go for it. And he had his grandfather, who was a little bit more conservative, that was kind of holding back, and not hold back, but just said, you have to be a little bit more deliberate in the way you're going.
Different era.
Definitely, and a different style. And so really that thing was mostly just watching a young person who had a big dream. And I love seeing people like have a dream and then go for it. And so that was it. It was nothing other than really wanting to see him do and be the best that he could do, So, but that was kind of down the line. I was already, at that point, I was kind of at least by my standards, I was I was doing great. Yeah. No doubt. I had an old
Yeah.
Cadillac. Top went down, top went up. Like I was doing
saw
it.
that bad boy parked at the restaurant before the restaurant was open. Is it that Cadillac?
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yep. And now we have the Lincoln out front. The Lincoln that's out front actually runs on the French fry oil from the restaurant.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a very green restaurant.
Oh, we're doing some things I think that are real cool.
Well, you're doing things that no one else is doing anywhere in New Orleans. It's not just like permeated sidewalk and stuff like that.
No, we're doing some cool stuff. I think probably we're doing the geothermal, and I think that's pretty cool. And
Pulling heat out of the ground.
Yeah, right now, even in these temperatures, like all of our air conditioning, our HVAC, so our heating and air conditioning, our daiquiri machines and refrigeration is all powered by the geothermal.
How's that work?
You tap
deep into the ground, right?
We have 18 300-foot wells. So you put the water, you shoot it down, and it takes on the temperature of the water that's down below, of the ground down below. And then you bring it back up. And if you want to make heat, you can reverse the process. If you want the cool, you get cooling, you kind of extract it. Yeah, that's above my pay grade. But I mean, I understand basically how it works. But it works.
Flushing toilets with the rainwater?
Oh, yeah, up in Brooklyn. Yeah, sure.
Wow, crazy.
Yeah, no doubt. And then we have this thing too that I think is real cool. We're calling ourselves the first. I said everybody's familiar with farm to table as far as restaurants go. We're actually table to farm. So all of what would look like paper goods,
compost, huh?
Yeah. We actually have these two machines. They're called the Hungry Giant, and one of them's kind of a giant food disposal that you have under your sink, and it reduces our food waste by about 50%. And then the next one is a dehydrator, and so that's about another 20 or 30%. So we're reducing our food waste, but it's also the paper plates. They're made actually of sugar cane, not out of paper.
Yeah.
Our cups are made out of corn resin, not petroleum products, so that gets in there too. And then it goes up to Schmelly's, which is up in the uptown in Holly Grove.
Yeah.
And it turns it into nutrient-rich soil, and so then it goes back to the farmer. So instead of it going farm to table, we're table to farm.
Yeah, it's amazing. It really is.
No, not bad. It's kind of cool.
Everybody's got to be doing that. And in America, I mean, I love going into like Amsterdam in a movie theater. I got a Heineken in a glass. I'm like, in America, people would drop the glass and break it on the ground. In Europe, there's no broken glasses. There's just some things that in America, we're so stubborn that we think we do everything the best. It's like we do a lot of things the best. Maybe overall we're the best, but that doesn't mean we do everything the best. And I think getting off of the plastic and all these things like you're doing, it's easy to do. It's not hard. It's better. It's really
also,
better.
I mean, for us, like for everybody who's there, I think we all feel proud that we're doing something that's a little bit outside the box. And so there is also, besides what it is for all the environment and everything else, just on a visceral gut level, you feel kind of good that you're trying to do something to like help make it a little bit better. And we're also trying to do it because sometimes some of this stuff can be so like overly didactic and stern. And like you feel like you're listening to that teacher when you were in junior high school, you never wanted to hear some of the people when they're talking about this. But we have frogs from the I don't know if you know, we have these orange dart frogs that are there. We have a scale model of the restaurant, and then there's these pipes that we have another artist, Langston Alston, who did it. And it's a diagram showing how geothermal works. And in the middle of it, there is a terrarium. And inside the terrarium, we have 5. In the wild, they're the most poisonous animal on earth. They're these dart frogs, the ones that they rub the indigenous people rub the darts on the backs of these frogs and shoot it. Well, in captivity, they eat different food, so they're not poisonous, but they still are orange dart frogs. And if you go right up to the window, they're not scared of you because they think you should be scared of them, right?
Right.
And so, but kids love seeing the dart frogs. Everybody kind of loves seeing the frogs. Like, who doesn't want to see an orange frog?
Of course.
And so in a way, we're trying to make some of the environmentalism, let's win hearts and minds, like in a fun way, not in just like, oh, this makes sense, let's read books and get a spreadsheet. So,
plus it's all based around capitalism and America, it's success. It's
no doubt. Yeah.
It's incredible. Hey, Sean, a pleasure, man.
Yeah, for real. No, I'd like to do that. And hopefully I'll see you down to, break bread.
No, I'll be down there soon, man.
All right, cool.
I'm overdue.
All right, looking forward to it.
Hey, how old are you, Sean?
Oh, old as dirt.
How old?
56.
Okay, we're about the same age. Tell me real quick, we got about 10 seconds. What's the future? What got any new plans for New Orleans? Any business endeavors? 10 seconds.
Right now is we really, now that we have a business and it's open, really just trying to engage with the community in even a more substantive way. That's it. We have a lot of kids programming that we're doing. We have a splash pad there for a bunch of young people running in and out. And trying to make that happen.
Rampart, Esplanade. Go check them out. Habana Outpost. I'm Corey Johnson. That's Sean Meenan. Stick around. The 5 o'clock power hour is next. You hear Blue Boy telling you. Don't move.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers Breitling time, 5 p.m.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
Ooh la Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh la Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Hi, everyone. It's Tommy Wrong for AsbestosMoneyGrab.com. This is not, I repeat, not for folks with real asbestos problems. But if you're like me and were maybe taking a shop class in high school where you maybe breathed in some brake dust and you know for certain you're fine, but you're the type of person that takes advantage of these types of situations, get tested, lawyer up, and steal some money like me. Go to I'm not really hurt at all, but like exploiting the system for free cash.com.
I was hoping no 5 o'clock powwow. I was going to hit some golf balls at the driving range. And my dream came true. It's the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reruns. That's right, not one, but 2 episodes of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, starring Will Smith. In between episodes, we'll show the infamous slap of Chris Rock at the Oscars for added value. Stick around for that. Or maybe we'll head to La Jolla, outside San Diego, and Drew Brees' house. Number 9, Drew Brees, take it away, please. That's right, Mr. Drew Brees is right on the money. It is indeed New Orleans, Louisiana. 5 o'clock power hour coming your way. Yeah, you right. 5 o'clock power hour this afternoon brought to you by Leidenheimer Baking Company. Since 1896, that's over 125 years. Still baking that Leidenheimer French bread right here in the city. Served at the city's finest restaurants. That po' boy you're enjoying, if it's excellent, you know it's on Leidenheimer French bread. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread. Leidenheimer Baking Company. 5 o'clock power hour this afternoon, brought to you by Leidenheimer. Was that rain earlier today? By golly, was that a thunder shower? What we normally get in the afternoon in the summertime in New Orleans? The heat wave continues, but yes, that was a little isolated thunder shower or two. Maybe you caught if you were lucky, a 1/4 inch of rain. I watered some plants yesterday at the house, ran the sprinkler. So today sort of resaturated that area. Other areas, I don't know if we got enough water today to, quote, water the lawn, water the plants. It's needed. It's better than no rain. To me, it's kind of a dust off. Got rid of the pollen, the dust, the dirt on the top of the city. It's all flowing down the drain. Boy, some desperately needed rain. We could have used a little bit more. Hopefully we get some more like today over the next week and a half. But what was supposed to end on Monday is continuing through this week, through the weekend, into next week, at least till next Thursday. Talking about these temperatures in the high 90s, 97, 98, 99 degrees. We've had more of that this summer than the last decade of summers combined, in my opinion, my guesstimation. I've never seen so many 97, 98, 99, 100. And then the feels like temperature off the chart, $108, 110, 112, 115. It's insane. 115 feels like, that's like 15, 18, 20 degrees hotter than what it normally feels like. When we're hitting like our high of the summer, like 93, it feels like 97, 98. Feels like 115. Just insane. 4 heat-related deaths in New Orleans, probably more in South Louisiana. And that's why I've been telling them, saying, stay hydrated. Since this thing started, I didn't need a few days of it. It's just obvious, common sense. Folks that you know that are vulnerable, health issues, elderly, that don't live in air conditioning during the day, at least, you got to get them out of that. And there's lots of ways to do it. Community center, libraries, shopping mall, fast food restaurant, anywhere there's air conditioning, big box store, whatever, wherever. Drive around in the car with the air conditioning running, anything. No, folks, the elderly, folks that have health issues, the vulnerable that don't live in air conditioning, you know, folks like that, get them out of the house from 10 in the morning till 7 at night. It's brutal out there. Today, we got a little reprieve. Instead of like 99, 100, it was like, I don't know, 95, 96. Might be back up to 97 by now. 95. No, the clouds and the rain kind of helped. Tomorrow, 96 the high. Thursday, 98. Friday, 99. Saturday, 99. Sunday, 98. Next Monday, 97. Next Tuesday, 96. Next Wednesday, 97. Next Thursday, 97. Crazy hot. Be careful. Yeah, and this stuff, water. H2O. Stay hydrated. Hey, if you missed the 4 o'clock hour, you missed a lot. Live in studio, Sean Meenan joined us. Owner-operator, Habana Outpost. Rampart at Esplanade. Open Thursday through Monday. Go check them out. Now, this is their weekend. They're closed Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They reopen Thursday through Monday, 11 a.m. till 11 p.m. Habana Outpost. Finally, after 40-plus years of that building sitting there blighted, the old gas station, the house behind it, Sean Meenan comes in and makes it happen. And instead of a city inviting it, that's the problem with New Orleans right there in a nutshell. City of New Orleans should have recognized Sean Meenan, the means he has, the other restaurants, the reality of what he's trying to do, come into this blighted property. They should have bent over backwards. Freddie King, the councilman before Freddie King, bend over backwards. The councilman before, the one before Freddie King. This took 12 years to get done. 12 years. 12 years. When he wanted to open it to like opening should have been 12 months. Every other place inviting, wanting him, helping him get it done. New Orleans, these neighbors behind him, this lawyer, the Franson guy, these other guys, you can Google their name. Go look at the assessor's website. They had the No Habana Outpost signs at their house. You want to know why? Strictly because they like their street the way it is. They live by the airport, right by the runway, and they don't want, they're complaining because the airport's bringing in more flights. That's essentially it. They live on Esplanade, right off of Rampart, on Esplanade, right down the street from Port of Call, across the street from Buffa's, whatever. No Habana Outpost, because they don't want a viable restaurant contributing to the city, helps the French Quarter, gets the blighted building off the, map, brings people there. They don't want any of that. They're selfish. They want it the way it is. So they fought it. It's just wrong. It's like the Langsfeld Loft, those two attorneys that thought they were smart, the old guy and the young guy. Couple of attorneys lived in this building, the Langsfeld Loft. Next door is an empty lot. It's in an area where someone's going to build a condo building there or something there. The minute it's announced, they're lawyers, they fight it. They bankrupt about 2 or 3 companies. Finally, the third one buys them out at like double the cost. They rub their hands together like, hey, we won. Yeah, you did. For you, selfishly, you won. A realistic person with some integrity, honor, that wasn't hiding behind a law degree and thinking they're savvy and smart, money infatuated, would have said, hey, I'm buying this condo in a building next to a lot. Something could come up next door. Be built right next door. And here's the ironic part. They were going to have the Langsfeld folks use some of the, the weight room, the pool, the areas of the new building. Now, these jerks, Herman was one, the old man, I forget the young guy, another jerk lawyer. Herman was one, and the young guy at Langsfeld Lofts. Bankrupting like 3 companies, 10 years, still nothing built there. And then they move out. Now, these deviant people that don't really have integrity, ethics, morals, honor, and then you throw in some goofy law degree where makes them just slightly dangerous because they know a little bit about the law. Now that selfish needs of the few outweigh the needs of the many attitude cripples New Orleans. These deviants donate to campaigns. They influence politicians. No, and it's all about themselves. It is selfish behavior that costs us all, that stifles New Orleans growth. No, Sean Meenan's a Golden Gloves champ, original investor in Etsy, has the wherewithal, the money, is a fighter, a champion, and a winner, humble, has the right attitude, and he beat these losers. Took a dozen plus years to get it done, but he beat these losers. The winners won, and the losers lost. And that's the way it should be, and it needs to be more of that in New Orleans. Think of how many projects have been stifled. How many folks you think were investing in that corner before Sean Meenan? I bet you a handful of folks over 40 years. Every few years, that to be someone pop up. And every few years, these losers squash the dream. Unbelievable. 5 o'clock powwow. Got some Ron DeSantis news. A Kenner strip mall gets 2 businesses get crushed by a vehicle driving into the business. Saints moving training camp maybe next year because it's too hot here. Hey, Latrim, the global manufacturing giant, is hiring. You looking for a new job, a new gig, a new career? Latrim's hiring. East Bankers, West Bankers, North Shore folks. They got you covered at their facility on the South Shore and their facility on the North Shore. For a full listing of positions available, go to latrim.com.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store, and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" He said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore led us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
Ooh la Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh la Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Served in New Orleans' finest restaurants, Leidenheimer French bread.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Yeah, you right, Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you on a Tuesday afternoon. You should be at Katie's right now in the air conditioning, getting ready for dinner, having a nice drink at the bar, listening to those New Orleans characters. The quintessential New Orleans neighborhood restaurant. USA Today listed 10 restaurants that are a must for travelers, tourists coming to the city. 10 restaurants, from low-end stuff to super high-end stuff, all kind of stuff in between. One of those 10 restaurants must visit if you're a tourist checking out New Orleans, Katie's, because it's a taste of New Orleans. It's real. It's not fake. It's where the locals go. Katie's in Mid-City. Corey Johnson back at you. Yes, that was rain earlier today. As Gomer Pyle would say, surprise, surprise, surprise. Boy, we needed that, huh? Boy, we needed that rain. Geez and Pete's. Yeah, finally, some thunder showers, a little rain today. Ron DeSantis firing his campaign manager. That's a smart move. There was no traction being had. Ron DeSantis is getting nowhere fast. What was that last week? Is 54-17? A new New York Times, Siena College poll. If the election for the Republican presidential nominee were held today, which candidate would you most likely vote for? Donald Trump, 54%. Ron DeSantis, 17%. Ron DeSantis is in second place. He's 37 points behind Donald Trump. I mean, make it a football game. It's 54-17. I don't know how you want to look at it. I've got $54,000. You've got $17,000. 54% to 17. Pence, Scott, Haley, Christie, 2 and 3%. So Ron DeSantis desperately needs to gain some traction. If Ron DeSantis changes his campaign manager and which he's doing, and gets an effective one, someone that's more aggressive, that's better, and sort of takes Chris Christie's approach, attacking Donald Trump for what he is, just reality, the facts, he might have a chance. That's it. The getting rid of the campaign manager was smart. You need to go in an entirely different direction. If your campaign manager was an SUV, you need a Ferrari. If your campaign manager was a Ferrari, you need a jacked up truck with big tires. You need to go like in the opposite direction if you're Ron DeSantis. And Chris Christie going on the offensive, I don't know how much traction Christie's going to gain, but I think that's the only way to go. You're not going to gain traction against Donald Trump by being nice. You got to kind of get your feet dirty, your hands dirty. You got to get a little down in the gutter a little bit. That's the only way you're going to get folks off of Donald Trump. There's no other way. It's almost like when he goes low, you got to go lower. Chris Christie is sort of taking the fight to Trump, but Chris Christie said it best. I mean, it's sort of a rhetorical statement, I guess. Talking about Trump not showing up for a debate, Christie will be there. That's probably how it's going to go down. I'd love to see a Chris Christie, Donald Trump debate. You've got to attack this guy if you want to knock this guy out. There's a lot of Republicans that have wavered. They were Donald Trump fans. Then they sort of saw what they thought was the future, and they jumped over to Ron DeSantis. Then they saw Trump not wavering, so they went back to Trump. And then all of a sudden they thought DeSantis, by announcing there might be momentum, went back that way. Now they're heading back towards Trump, bouncing all over the place. Trump, DeSantis, Trump, DeSantis, Trump, DeSantis. Boy, this video, it's not fun to watch. I guess some folks are going to laugh because they have no empathy. A 78-year-old man, I don't accidentally hit the gas, not the brake, accelerated over the little yellow parking curb, over the curb, up the little sidewalk, into the strip mall, running into a business with his vehicle. Backed out and proceeded to ram into another one, looped around and rammed into another building. And then backed out and drove away. And when he drove away, it looked like a 15, 16-year-old kid trying to get away. I mean, that's what this 78-year-old man was still thinking. Obviously, meds weren't working right. Let's not hope, I remember my grandfather. There's this, you come off by West End and you're turning, I guess, to go to to the West End, to the Point, to that area. There's a restaurant thing called Sala right there. There's Russell's Marina Grill. Back in the day, Sala, whatever, was like a ground patty. My grandfather was going to pick us up some ground patty on a Saturday afternoon for dinner. And I remember my brother and I having to go over to help him out. And he was so pissed off. If you turn, I even think still to this day, the curb starts off like it's street level, like it's even with the street. And then it ramps up into a curve that's about a foot off the ground. And my grandfather kind of rode onto that median where two of the tires were caught up on the neutral ground, two were on the street. I guess he scraped the bottom of his car, put it in park, and didn't want to cause any more damage and called us. I mean, anyone, I could have done this. You could have done this. Especially back then, it wasn't marked at all. But I remember just seeing his face. And I think it was just sort of, he felt like, I'm getting old. This was a dumb mistake I normally wouldn't make. I don't drink. I'm not on drugs. What's going on? He's just sort of frustrated and mad that he made this mistake, So I had empathy for this 78-year-old guy's inside the business. And he's probably like, oh, my God, what a mistake. But doesn't really realize probably where he is. Let me get out of this, and reverses out. Just insane. Jeff Duncan reporting, Times-Picayune, the Saints will move training camp starting next year. Getting out of Metairie, getting out of the heat, going somewhere else. I don't think the Greenbrier is the best place. I don't think, going to a resort is where you want your NFL team. King-size beds, large rooms, all that. When I was doing sports talk 30 years ago in the early 90s, Jim Finks had the Saints in the late 80s into the early 90s going to lacrosse, the Cheese League. The Vikings were up there. The Bears were up there. The Kansas City Chiefs, the Saints. Who else? Vikings, Kansas City, the Bears, the Saints. Oh, and Green Bay. And I think Jacksonville came for a year. Well, they weren't really even part of it. It was the other teams from that area. And then Finks was smart. Finks was the Bears GM. Finks built the Super Bowl Bears teams. He knew where they went to camp. He knew the University of Wisconsin system, Platteville, University of Wisconsin lacrosse, where the Saints ended up. Great weather every day, nice temperatures in late July, August. I remember one time I'm covering camp, had to go to the University of Wisconsin at lacrosse bookstore and buy a sweatshirt because it was like 56 degrees that morning. And then the hottest, I don't remember sweating too much in lacrosse, covering Jim Finks, Jim Mora, and the Saints back in the early 90s there. I remember I went one year for like 2 weeks, went another year for like 10 days, and went one year for like 30 days, like the entire camp. Too long in La Crosse, Wisconsin. But, the players stay in a dorm where college students stay. There's big showers. There's the cot bed with the little thin mattress. It's an NFL training camp. It's not horrible conditions. It's air conditioned. It's fine. But it's not luxury conditions like the Greenbrier. I don't know if that's the place. I think a university is a place. I don't know. Maybe the Saints call some of these other teams because it's cyclical. It's one day, it's like politics. The Democrats are hot. The next few years, it's the Republicans. It's like colleges and universities. Fraternities and sororities are in. The next generation, they're not. It's the same kind of thing. So maybe training camp, a lot of teams do it basically at their training facility or stay nearby. Maybe some of these teams like, we've been doing that for a while. Maybe it would be good to go to a, quote, camp and go away again. Jeff Duncan, Times-Picayune, reporting the Saints will move training camp starting next year. I would, if I were Mickey Loomis and the Saints, I'd call some of those teams the old Cheese League teams. Vikings, what about going back to Mankato? Bears, what about going to the University of Wisconsin at Platteville? Kansas City was University of Wisconsin at Eau Claire or something. Vikings, Mankato in Minnesota. Green Bay was like some college, some small college in Minnesota, I think. Get the Cheese League going again. That was I think the Saints did that for 8-9 seasons, if I'm not mistaken. That was a brilliant idea. Jim Finks knew what he was doing. Jeff Duncan reporting the Saints will move training camp next year. Hey, every day this program on radio, on television, live streaming, CoreTalks.com. We're on YouTube, The Neutral Ground, Corey Johnson on YouTube. Click to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It doesn't cost anything. Every day the program's brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex. Pretty amazing what Ronnie Lamarck did to that facility. For just, maybe about 2 years now, this $50 million, 15-acre, brand new from the ground up, state-of-the-art complex has been rolling. Lamarck Ford, the big store, number one in the region. Lamarck Lincoln, the number one Lincoln dealership in the state of Louisiana. Inventory, price, service sets Ronnie Lamarck apart, and it has for 50 years. The Lamarck Automotive Complex on the car corner, Williams Boulevard and I-10 in Kennebra, right on the corner, right on the price. And now Lamarck Crescent City Ford. That's right, the legendary Ford truck dealership. Crescent City Ford, now under the Lamarck umbrella. Every day this program brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex. And now Lamarck Crescent City Ford. Corey Johnson with you. If you missed the 4 o'clock hour, you missed a lot. You can check it on YouTube, Anchor, iTunes, Spotify. Sean Meenan, Habana Outpost owner, operator here in New Orleans and other places, joined us live in studio for about 25 minutes. He fought the good fight against folks fighting the bad fight, and he won because he's a winner. He's successful, and the folks fighting against him aren't winners. They're losers. No, there's a problem in New Orleans sometimes. First off, it's hard for any outsider to come to New Orleans compared to just about any other city in North America and start a business. If there are 3 steps in any other city, there are 30 steps in New Orleans, and you still might not get it going. And it frustrates so many people where they leave, where they don't stay. No, you need a fighter. You need a winner, someone that falls in love with the city. It's obnoxious. Instead of being an inviting business city, we're the opposite. We run people away. There are too many examples. I remember the Walmart on Tchoupitoulas in the Curve. Man, you open a Walmart there, you will wreck all the businesses on Magazine Street. That was the thought. This Walmart superstore in Tchoupitoulas is going to kill all the businesses on Magazine. I think Walmart shoppers and the folks that shop on Magazine, an entirely different demographic, entirely different socioeconomic level. Jeez and Pete's. I'm just an average Joe. Now, I'm single. I'm not married with kids. If I was married with kids, I'd probably be at Walmart. I don't go to Walmart. I go to Magazine Street, Art and Eyes, all kind of stuff on Magazine Street I go to. Les Petites Grocery, whatever. Open the Walmart, you're going to kill Magazine Street. Magazine Street is as vibrant, thriving, as well as it ever has in its history. It's one of the greatest, unique retail streets in the world, much less the country, 4 miles long. A lot of mom and pop mixed in with some even national stuff with low-profile signing, fitting right in. It works. It's great. It's an incredible street. Walmart didn't affect it at all. The old bus barn on Magazine, going to turn it into a Whole Foods. Folks freaking out. I mean, you got to give Whole Foods credit. That bus barn building, let's turn that into a grocery store. I think anybody else would be like, tear the thing down. The block behind it, a bunch of houses built on that old pad for buses. That was on Magazine Street. A streetcar barn, a bus barn, right there. Now it's a beautiful Whole Foods. So many people were against it. Against it. Makes no sense at all. The Audubon Golf Course, against it. You're tearing down the old, I remember this, the old greenhouse. We used to hit golf balls into the greenhouse to break the glass because it was abandoned, overgrown weeds for my entire life. And I was a child, 12, 15, 18, 20, 25, 30 years old, abandoned greenhouse. Oh, y'all going to tear down the greenhouse. It's historically significant. Why didn't you care about it when it was there? Oh, you're going to build this clubhouse and have a restaurant. You're ruining the ambience of the park. The same folks protesting that go for lunch and sandwiches at the restaurant. Just a bunch of hypocrites. No, the needs of the few outweigh the needs of the many. That political mentality, the Hilario, Edwin Edwards, Bill Jefferson, Mark Morial type mentality. And then the mentality of New Orleanians. These New Orleanians, mostly white, with wherewithal, family money, maybe someone in the group got a law degree by accident, too much time on their hand and the money. They fight things. Sean Meenan, who joined us last hour, came to New Orleans, fell in love with the city. And if you watch the last hour of the program, go to YouTube, you can check it out. He's like a New Orleans character. He fits right in like a glove, just a perfect New Orleanian. And he's an outsider. And I look at that guy and go, he's a better New Orleanian than a lot of natives. That's for damn sure. Especially these natives that are selfish. These ones that lived behind this Habana Outpost on Esplanade with these no Habana Outpost signs, using all their power, all their money, their law degrees, lawsuits, their contributions to easily manipulated politicians, stifling Sean Meenan in this Habana Outpost for 12 years. It took him 12 years to get it done. Now, there had to be lots of folks over that 40-plus year period where that gas station on Esplanade and Rampart that is now the thriving Habana Outpost, had to be dozens of folks coming in there, contract to buy the property, business they're going to do, and these jerks stifled it, put up roadblocks, and drove them away. They probably had parties, celebrated it, had drinks, laughing how they're keeping the blight, keeping things in their neighborhood the same. They don't want change, much less a vibrant business lit up with people and parking and people walking around. They probably celebrated year in, year out, decade in, decade out, How many people did these folks stop that New Orleans allowed them to stop? Over 40 plus years. Finally, they run into a Golden Gloves champ, a guy with some money, some wherewithal, a fighter who's a humble, good guy, that's a winner, that looks at everything in a positive light, and I'm going to get this done. And just got it done because he's a winner. And those losers that no Habana Outpost, they lost. I love it. I love that it's open 11 till 11. Honk your horn by those people's house. Let them know you're for the Habana Outpost. I love that Sean Meenan in the main window on Esplanade has one of their signs. No Habana Outpost with a red circle and the line through it. I love it. In your face, I think that is what's that's called. Or what is the movie? In the face. That's in your face. That might have been a Borat movie. In the face. That's in your face. Anyway, Sean Meenan joined us in the 4 o'clock hour. What a huge victory. Rain this afternoon. That was like a huge victory, huh? That was like a huge victory, rain this afternoon. Got things to normal temperatures, like our high was 95 instead of 98, 99, even 100. Boy, if your air conditioning's having problems, not working right, worse, not working at all, don't stress out. Solve the problem. Make the problem as small as possible. It stinks. Your AC stopped working right, or worse, not at all working. Make the problem as small as possible. Call Fair and Honest Lucas and the boys at River City's Total Maintenance. They're air conditioning experts that are honest, that'll come right away and get your AC fixed right now, this afternoon, tonight. Honest air conditioning experts that come immediately. That's River City's Total Maintenance. Find them at NOLAAC.com. If you need air conditioning help, the best in the business, River City's Total Maintenance. Find them online, NOLAAC.com. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision.
a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Help paint, let us steer you right. Help paint and supply.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
I so desperately want to drop charcoal and grill tonight, but it's just been too damn hot to grill. You got to get some kind of, thread of rain or something, but you don't get the rain, but you get that breeze blowing in like 78-degree temperature. The rest of the country, man, it's like grilling season. Our grilling season is like the opposite. We're dropping coals in December, Anyway, no, I've been jonesing for something off the grill. I'm a Weber kettle guy, and I'm not here to what's the best. It's just what I like and what I'm used to. Kingsford coals. If I want hotter, I'll go with like a natural lump charcoal that the ceramic grill experts use. The Komodo Joe, Primo, Green Egg folks use that lump. I think that lump. I don't know the temperature of like a Kingsford, charcoal spread out at its hottest. I'm going to say 600 degrees. That lump is 800 degrees. That lump gets hot. It seems like it's a more even heat, less ashes, but super duper hot. The Kingsford's hot enough for me. I won't put the top on like if I'm grilling a steak. Sear one side, flip it, sear the other. I'm done. Chicken, something like that. Spread the coals, indirect heat, lid on, long-term deal. But boy, if I got someone that likes a steak like rare, like black and blue, like Pittsburgh style, like rare, like cool center. That lump charcoal with the lid off, my God, the heat you can generate on that, take the skin off your hands. You know, you put your hand over the heat. If you can hold it over there like 3 or 4 seconds, you're ready to cook. If you 1 or 2 seconds, like, damn, it's like that. It just sears the steak or the tuna. And then, but which is nice because brown means flavor, as Frank Brightson would say. I'm a big proponent of that. I want the seasonings cooking too, the salt, the black pepper, the cayenne, whatever I put on it. So I like that high heat. I like that searing factor. As I've grown older, it's funny. I mean, when I was a kid, I think I had a steak like medium well. And then when I became kind of like a teenager or in my early 20s, it was kind of medium. And now that once I got into like my 30s or 40s, it went to like kind of medium rare plus, in between medium rare and medium-ish, kind of. Anyway, lots of places to get a pretty decent steak in New Orleans these days. There's some inexpensive. Venezia has a filet, New York strip, and a ribeye on a hot plate sizzling butter. Venezia, the Italian joint, they're like 30-something bucks for each steak. It's a choice steak, but it's pretty solid. You get what you pay for. Houston's on St. Charles Avenue. Their steaks, the filet is a prime Allen Brothers out of New York, that purveyor. Sometimes they'll have a prime New York strip from Allen Brothers as a special, cooking it over that hickory wood. That's pretty special. And I know it's sort of Houston's, the chain. As my mom says when we go to Houston's, you need to float a bond to pay this bill. That's an old school line. But it's true. Houston's is expensive, man. There's nothing cheap about Houston's. Spinach dip at Houston's is like 18 bucks. The ribs are like 35 bucks. And those Allen Brothers steaks, I think that filet is like $52 and that strip is like $60. It's crazy. Stuff's expensive nowadays, huh? Nothing's cheap. Nothing's inexpensive. Corey Johnson with you. Yeah, you're right. Are you on the causeway right now? Beeline into the North Shore? Why don't you call Trey Yen? They're open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen in Mandeville, critically acclaimed, nationally recognized, considered one of the finest Chinese restaurants in America. The Wong brothers have been doing it for nearly 50 years. So good. One of the best seafood restaurants in Metro New Orleans. I'm not kidding you. You love seafood? They got local fresh seafood. Fantastic seafood dishes at Trey Yen in Mandeville. Why don't you call in if you're on the causeway and get a to-go order? Curbside delivery. They walk it right out to your car. You don't even leave the vehicle. Pull up to the house with a big to-go order from Trey Yen. You're the hero. The phone number at Trey Yen, you know the area code, 985 on the North Shore. 626-4476. 626-4476. Or dine in. For you North Shore folks, at the foot of the causeway in Mandeville. For you South Shore folks, 25 short minutes from Lakeside Shopping Center. Trey Yen in Mandeville. So good. Corey Johnson with you on a Tuesday. Yeah, we got some rain earlier today. Some scattered thunder showers. I shouldn't say we. There's some areas of the metro area, I'm sure, that didn't get any rain. Some got a pretty decent amount. My neighborhood got a little decent amount. I'm guessing like 0.2 of an inch. I got not a downpour, but a decent rain. You'd get wet if you were in it. I had to run outside and roll up my cracked windows in the car because rain was getting in. It was raining pretty good. Could have used about 90 minutes of that. I got about 20 minutes. I think it was kind of a dust off, got the dust and pollen washed off of cars, streets, houses, roofs, trees. We dusted the city. All flowed down the drain. So that's nice. But as far as like watering the lawn, watering the plants, I'm a little skeptical. I did some landscaping, not me, but got it done, a year ago. It's been so hot, I saw some of the plants wilting, so I brought out the hose and the sprinkler the last few weeks, every 3-4 days, just soaking the area for like 45 minutes with the sprinkler. I did that yesterday morning to 2 areas. So today's rain probably resaturated those areas, a big plus. But as far as watering the other areas where I didn't put the sprinkler, I don't think so. But better rain than not. Plus keeping the oppressive heat down to the mid-90s, not the high 90s. Corey Johnson with you on a Tuesday afternoon. Coming right back.
Changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore led us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com. Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Since 1896, a true taste of New Orleans, Leidenheimer French bread. Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right, Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
I love how the Sean Meenan Habana Outpost story ends. 12 plus years ago, Sean Meenan comes to New Orleans, wants to open a restaurant, his restaurant, already has a few locations, successful. Picks the blighted corner of Rampart and Esplanade, that old gas station, blighted for 40 years, the house behind it. Right away, the neighbors behind it are against it because they're selfish. They're worried about themselves exclusively. We like living on Esplanade. We like that it's a blighted property on the corner. We like that there's no activity there. We like that it's not a thriving business with people and parking and lit up. We like it just how it is. We don't care that it's blight and it's the corner of Rampart and Esplanade, like the door to the French Quarter. We don't care. We don't care what's best for the city. We don't care about tax dollars being created. We don't care about a viable business going there and about jobs and all that. About the French Quarter, tourism, none of that. All we care about is ourselves. And these jerks, probably for decades, ran off. Could be dozens of people over 40 years trying to open a business in that location. All I know, for 40 plus years, it was blighted. Not even an inkling of an idea of something going in there. Sean Meenan, a winner, stepped up over 12 years, fought those jerks and won. Go check out his Habana Outpost, Thursday through Monday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. Rampart Esplanade in the French Quarter. That's Blue Boys saying, see you mañana.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, Breitling time, 6 p.m.